Chapter 2. The Nature of Awareness. Just as a screen is never agitated by the drama in a movie, so being aware or awareness itself is never disturbed by the content of experience. Thoughts may be agitated, feelings distressed, the body in pain, and the world troubled. But pure knowing, being aware or awareness itself, is never perturbed by anything that occurs in experience. Thus its nature is peace itself. This is not a fragile peace that depends on the relative calm of the mind, body, or world, but an inherent peace that is always available in the background of experience, prior to and independent of the mind's activity or inactivity. It is, as such, the peace that passeth understanding. Nothing that takes place in experience enhances or diminishes the experience of being aware or awareness itself, just as nothing that takes place in a movie adds anything to or removes anything from the screen. Being aware is never aggrandized or demeaned by the acquisition of knowledge or the occurrence of any particular experience. It needs nothing from and fears nothing in experience. It stands neither to gain nor lose anything from any particular experience. Awareness is inherently whole, complete, and fulfilled in itself. Thus, its nature is happiness itself, not a happiness that depends upon the condition of the mind, body, or world, but a causeless joy that is prior to and independent of all states, circumstances, and conditions. Just as the screen does not share the qualities, characteristics, or limitations of any of the objects or characters in a movie, although it is their sole reality, so the knowing with which all knowledge and experience are known does not share the qualities, characteristics, or limitations of whatever is known or experienced. Thus it is unlimited or infinite. Just as the screen is not conditioned by anything that takes place in a movie, so knowing, being aware, or awareness itself is never conditioned by anything that takes place in experience. Knowing, being aware, or awareness itself is the essential, irreducible essence of the mind prior to its conditioning in the form of objective experience. It is, as such, unconditioned. If we are absorbed in a movie, it may seem at first that the screen lies behind the image. Likewise, if we are so captivated by experience that we overlook the simple experience of being aware or awareness itself, we may first locate it in the background of experience. In this first step, being aware or awareness itself is recognized as the subjective witness of all objective experience. Looking more closely, we see that the screen is not just in the background of the image, but entirely pervades it. Likewise, all experience is permeated with the knowing with which it is known. It is saturated with the experience of being aware, or awareness itself. There is no part of a thought, feeling, sensation, or perception that is not infused with the knowing of it. This second realization collapses, at least to a degree, the distinction between awareness and its objects. In the third step, we understand that it is not even legitimate to claim that knowing, being aware, or awareness itself pervades all experience, as if experience were one thing and awareness another. Just as the screen is all there is to an image, so pure knowing, being aware, or awareness itself is all there is to experience. All there is to a thought is thinking, and all there is to thinking is knowing. All there is to an emotion is feeling, and all there is to feeling is knowing. All there is to a sensation is sensing, and all there is to sensing is knowing. All there is to a perception is perceiving, and all there is to perceiving is knowing. Thus, all there is to experience is knowing, and it is knowing that knows this knowing. Being all alone, with nothing in itself other than itself with which it could be limited or divided, knowing, or pure awareness, is whole, perfect, complete, indivisible, and without limits. This absence of duality, separation, or otherness is the experience of love or beauty, in which any distinction between a self and an object, other, or world has dissolved. Thus, love and beauty are the nature of awareness. In the familiar experience of love or beauty, awareness is tasting its own eternal, infinite reality. A character in a movie may travel the world, and yet the screen, her sole substance and reality, never goes anywhere. Likewise, although the mind continually moves, in the form of all thinking, imagining, feeling, sensing, and perceiving, pure knowing, being aware, or awareness itself, its sole substance and reality, never goes anywhere. In the form of the mind, awareness moves without moving. Just as the screen is colored by a movie, but is never stained by it, so awareness is colored by experience, but is never tarnished or sullied by anything that takes place within it. Pure knowing, being aware, or awareness itself, is always in the same pristine condition. No experience leaves a trace on our essential self-aware being. Just as the screen is utterly defenseless against anything that happens in a movie, and yet is never destroyed by the activity that takes place upon it, so awareness is completely open or vulnerable to all experience, and yet, at the same time, unharmable and indestructible. The experience of being aware is in exactly the same condition now as it was 2 minutes ago, 2 days ago, 2 months ago, 2 years ago, or 20 years ago. The awareness with which our experience as 5-year-old girls or boys was known is exactly the same awareness with which our current experience is known. Thus, our essential nature of knowing, being aware, or awareness itself has no age. It is for this reason that as we get older, we feel that we are not really getting older. The older we get, the more we feel we have always been the same person. The sameness in ourself is the sameness of awareness. Likewise, the awareness with which our most intelligent thoughts are known is the same as the awareness with which our most unintelligent thoughts are known. The awareness with which the sensation of pain, tension, or agitation is known is the same awareness with which the sensation of pleasure, relaxation, or warmth is known. The awareness with which the experience of anger, sorrow, or grief is known is the same as the awareness with which the experience of gratitude, kindness, or enjoyment is known. The mind believes that awareness resides within the body and thus shares its limitations and destiny. Therefore, the mind believes that when the body is born, awareness is born, that when the body grows old and sick, awareness grows old and sick, and that when the body dies and disappears, awareness dies and disappears with it. However, when the character in a movie is born, the screen is not born. When the character in a movie grows old, the screen doesn't age. And when the character in a movie dies, the screen doesn't die or disappear. Likewise, when the body appears or is born, awareness is not born. When the body ages, awareness does not age. And when the body dies or disappears, awareness does not die or disappear. It remains in the same ageless condition throughout. Awareness never experiences its own appearance or disappearance, its own beginning or ending, its own birth or death. In order to claim such an experience, awareness would have to be present prior to its own appearance, beginning or birth, and after its own disappearance, ending or death. The finite mind imagines that awareness disappears in deep sleep, but in awareness's experience, it is the finite mind that disappears in deep sleep, leaving awareness all alone. Deep sleep is not the absence of awareness, it is the awareness of absence. Thus, in its own experience of itself, and awareness is the only one that knows anything about itself, awareness is birthless and deathless. In other words, awareness is eternal. Just as nothing happens to the screen when a character in a movie becomes sick, so nothing happens to awareness when the body falls ill. It is for this reason that to know one's true nature of pure awareness is the ultimate healing. If one knows oneself as pure awareness, or the simple experience of being aware, one is always in perfect health. Nothing ever happens to awareness.